Hi, my name's Dominic, and we're a resident of Ellensburg, Washington, which is about 80 miles east of Seattle, Washington. And this video is in response to uh, the Fox News special with Shepard Smith regarding the big one, as they call it. It's supposed to hit the Pacific Northwest. Um, Kind of funny that they mentioned this all of a sudden on the news. I thought that it was a little bit of fear mongering going on with Fox, especially. Why that is, I don't know what they're trying to do here, but there's a lot of people that are really scared in Seattle. A lot of people that I've talked to on Facebook are really, pretty alarmed, and people that are just really afraid and just completely unprepared for an event like this, which is actually pretty scary because 9.0, 9.2 magnitude earthquake will create a lot of damage. And as you saw a couple years ago with Fukushima, that earthquake just completely destroyed parts of Japan. And they actually have a very resilient architecture there for earthquakes compared to Seattle. Seattle, when they made the buildings in Seattle, I mean, they obviously, architects take earthquakes into consideration, but it's not a 100% emphasis like you find somewhere in California, San Francisco, Los Angeles. A lot more care taken there with the architecture. Seattle, a lot of old buildings, a lot of water, very dense, tall buildings. It's a port town, so I mean it's right there. But what they're saying is anywhere west of I-5 is going to get wiped out completely. It's pretty sad if that were to happen. I hope it doesn't. But I think that there's a lot of things people should do to prepare for, an earthquake. People should be prepared for an earthquake no matter what. And I think it's completely stupid and ridiculous that people start panicking because they're not prepared. If you think about this stuff ahead of time, you're not running around out in the streets, panicking, trying to figure out what you're going to loot off of the shelves. You're calm. You can help other people. You're in a position where, you can do something about the situation rather than panic and scream and try to find cover while waves, are crashing down the street, wiping people, down the road. If you look at some of the other YouTube videos in Tokyo, people just got swept right out of the streets, and carried off with the waves. It's pretty sad, actually. But, people just need to be prepared. That's the bottom line. And start thinking ahead of this stuff. I really urge people from Seattle, Portland. I hope you guys are preparing for an earthquake no matter what, because it can hit at any time, regardless of what the news says. You should be prepared for, a military attack. You should be prepared for an earthquake, storms, power outages, stuff like that happens. It's life. You need to be prepared for it. You can't just be caught with your pants down. I always recommend people to have at least a week's worth of food at the very minimum. Make sure you have, solar operated radio. Make sure that you have knives, paracords to make shelters, just really basic stuff that you can use for survival if you have to create a shelter. I personally put together a bag. It's a 72-hour bag, real simple. I'm not one of these tinfoil guys that you see on, prepper disasters, whatever they call that TV show. I'm just a practical guy that likes to, make sure that in any given situation, I can react to it and I'm going to survive and my kids are going to survive. And that's what I like to do. I like to make sure that I'm prepared for this kind of stuff. But I have a 72-hour bag. I put together a lot of different items in there. I have a little candle that I bought for $10, burns for like 12 hours, and you can heat your entire tent up to like 68 degrees with just this little tiny wax candle. I have like 2 or 3 of those, so I can survive for about 36 hours out in the freezing cold. Emergency blankets, flashlights, batteries. If you want to go fancy, solar rechargeables. Um, obviously knives, flint, waterproof matches, cases for your waterproof matches, bungee cords. Bungee cords can be used for all sorts of different things. What else do I have in my supply pack? Uh, I think I mentioned flint. Um, a lot of different things. And you can get like a military pack from the surplus store for like 15, 20 bucks. You can fit like 50 pounds worth of stuff in there. Dry foods, MREs work really well. Just in case, there's like a panic, you got to grab shit and go. If you live in Seattle, people are going to be, if you've ever been in rush hour traffic in Seattle, you know that you're not going nowhere for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Okay. Imagine if there's a massive exodus from Seattle to a rural location trying to get away from the tsunami. Okay. You're going to be caught in the middle of that traffic. I don't think so. You're not going to get out alive. Guaranteed. You're going to get smashed up by a bunch of waves and cars. So what I recommend people do is, if something were to hit, you got your bike or motorcycle ready to go in your garage. Your bike is going to be your best friend. If you have a mountain bike, not many people in Seattle have mountain bikes, but if you have any kind of bike, that's maneuverable, get that shit out of your garage and just go. Grab your pack, 36-hour, 72-hour pack. Be ready to go to your kids' daycare or wherever. If you don't have kids, just get the hell out of there and start pedaling east as quickly as possible. The further away from that area, from the ocean, and further east of I-5 you can get, the better off you're going to be. And a bike's going to be your best friend. You can move quickly. You can weave in and out of traffic. You don't have to be stuck on a road, behind a bunch of people. So bikes, really good, just for an emergency like that, especially in a dense area like Seattle. Portland's a little bit less dense, but still, it's a city. You're going to have issues there getting out. But yeah, having a pack of just like 24 to 48 hours worth of food. If you're in that area where you're going to be in immediate danger, you're going to have to get the hell out of there. So I recommend residents of Seattle have a pack that they can just grab and go, and get out. If you're not in Seattle, you're in a more rural location like myself, you're going to want, to be just staying put, because people are going to be coming to you from that Seattle area. So you're going to want to have at least 2 weeks worth of water. During a nuclear explosion, people recommend that you turn on all your faucets immediately, because the water gets contaminated really quick. Turn on all your faucets immediately. Fill up your bathtubs completely with water as quickly as possible. Fill up your sinks, plug them, fill up your sinks with water. If you don't have drinking water in bottles available to you. Now, I recommend people always have a supply of water and change it out every couple months. But if you can't do that, you're in a pinch and you didn't prepare for it, well, that's the best thing that you can do. Water is like the numero uno important thing. Other than that, make sure you have 2 weeks worth of food in your house if you're rural. If you're in Seattle, you're not gonna be grabbing your food and piling it in the back of your car. You're gonna be running for your life. You're not gonna care about food. You're gonna be caring about not getting hit by a wave and impaled on a sign somewhere, or impaled by glass in some shop, from the force of the tsunami. So you're not going to care about food, or you're going to be on top of a building that's going to actually get swept away. One of the two. But make sure that you have 72 hours worth of food. Get yourself a bike. You got those two things, you can get the hell out of there quick. As far as little kids, if you have little kids, get your ass a trailer for your bike, so you can throw your kids in the trailer and go. That's the best way that you could get your kids and save them, I think, is with a bike, a mountain bike with a trailer, or a road bike with a trailer. Um, and that's what I'm going to be looking into if I end up moving to the west side, which I probably won't now after hearing about this. But I mean, you shouldn't let this kind of stuff dictate your whole life. If you're going to be living in fear, not prepared for anything, and just panic when it does happen, forget about it, you know. But you should be able to live where you want to live. If you like Seattle, live in Seattle. Don't let some Fox News anchor man, you know, panic the shit out of you because of some stupid news story that seismologists all of a sudden having a revelation that we're going to have an earthquake. I mean, we've been talking about this in Seattle area for years and years and years that we've been expecting it. It's nothing new there. They just decided to blast it on the media. So don't panic, people. Hopefully some of this stuff helps you. I posted some links below this video, some of my favorite survival type tools and emergency tools that you can throw in your car or in a bag to have with you that work when you need them. And hopefully this video benefits somebody out there, and you know, hopefully this doesn't happen. I don't want it to happen, but definitely I don't want to see a bunch of people die like they say. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think people have to die. I think people can help each other out, and we can prevent a lot of deaths from happening if there was an earthquake. So, you know, my prayers go out to everybody in Seattle, and hopefully, you know, none of this happens. Hopefully, we just laugh about it later. So I gotta go to work tomorrow. But good night, everybody, and you know, we'll see what happens.